All right, but now what we want to do is we need to have a cue, or control of my horse enough to make him change leads. All right, because again, a lead change is if he's on his right lead, how can I control him enough that I can make him slow down the right side of his body and speed up the left side of his body? All right, that's what a lead change is. It's slowing down one side and speeding up the other side, or slowing down this side and speeding up this side. Well, what we can do, is a lead change comes from the hind quarter, strictly just from the hind quarter. All right. So if I get the hind quarter to change, the front will follow. What I don't want to do is go out and do a figure eight, on his right lead, and then jump him to the left and hope that he picks up the correct lead. Because what will happen is he'll crossfire. You'll lose control of the hind quarter, and he'll start really getting jumpy into your leads. Well, what I can do is I can teach haunches in or hips in. All right. What I have to have is I have to have a way to tell him to take your hind quarter and bring it to the left, or take your hind quarter and bring it to the right. All right. Well, how I taught that and how you can teach that, real simple, is you get your horse walking. All right. As he's walking, now remember, teaching this, it's a sequence. All right. There's a sequence to it. So what the horse does is the horse is a conditioned response animal. We provide the condition for him to respond a certain way. So what I do is I put the nose to the left, take it to the right as far as I have to make the hip move. Now remember, all I'm trying to do is disengage his right hindquarter. Because what happens when I disengage his right hindquarter, I've engaged his left. So if you've ever done this before, where you walk forward, you pick up this rein, you disengage his hindquarter, what you've done is you've just disengaged his right hindquarter. But when you disengage his right hindquarter, you're also engaging your left hindquarter. So at least I know how to engage his left hindquarter. But what I need to do is understand, how do I get his nose from over here to over here? Because this is where I need his nose. I need his nose over here, and this hindquarter stepping up this direction. So how can I do that? Well, it's a simple sequence. You take the nose to the left. All right. As the nose is to the left, I'm going to take his nose back to the right as far as I have to until that hip moves. Once the hip moves, I'll make the hip move and then turn around and take his nose right back to the left. All right. So I'll take his nose to the left here, take his nose to the right as far as I have to make that hip move, and then I'm going to come right back to the left. All right. So here I'm to the left, take his nose to the right until that hip moves and come right back to the left. All right. Now again, don't use your leg at this time. You're going to use your leg at a point, but if you use it right now when you're teaching the lesson for the first time, then what will happen is you're teaching him you're taking valuable, you're making your leg less valuable. All right. Because later on, if I teach it now, I still only have one cue to do your hips in. But if I teach it later, I have two cues. So if I can make him move the hip off the rein, then I'll come back later and add my leg. Then I have two cues to move that hip. So when he doesn't want to move the hip, I have another cue that I can back it up with and say, no, I really need you to move that hip.